今は幸せに
探せば来たか。松の多い
けど、じゃなけりゃきっとあの人も私たちを見失ったりしなかった。きっとね
えもんな。あずら、
お前たちは大義を発なんだ。来い。突然顔を
たら真面目に働く。
なんだ。突然すんだ。
こんなバカおさばき。
这样子干嘛啦？干嘛？专业。没有啊，我要我的员工骚一点啊。
I'm at the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is 1,300 feet below sea level. It is literally impossible. And yet, a lifeguard. Wow! I can feel my body changing, all the salt. My penis has been turned into a brined Vlasic pickle. Be honest, am I too white? Yes, right? Too white.
Too white.
Quick question. Are you here with your boyfriend?
No.
Okay, you're with me now. I took off my wedding ring. They said you can't wear jewelry in here, so that means I'm not married while I'm in the Dead Sea. Why are you covered in this mud?
You take mud from the Dead Sea, and it has all those minerals and stuff, and
So you put it all over your body?
Yeah.
Is this attractive? Do I look attractive now? Attractive Israeli man?
More attractive than without the mask.
So
I'm telling you the truth.
I know. So you think I'm more attractive covered in mud than as God made me. I'm going to go that way, and I'm going to cry.
I'm sorry.
Too late for sorry. Yes. Could I get a glass of red wine and 600 glasses of water?
Graphics, the cornerstone of video games. Heroes of the Storm is Blizzard's biggest fuck-up, and this is a company that made World of Warcraft. There is no last hitting, no items, no gold, kills don't matter, the matches don't matter, and the player especially doesn't matter. It has dumbed down the MOBA formula so far that I'm not sure if it's actually a game at this point. I feel like I'm watching a cutscene. You guys remember that game type from Call of Duty Domination? We gotta capture like 3 areas, but all anybody does is try to get kill streaks and shoot each other. That's what this whole game is. Matchmaking cycles through 4 or 5 different shitty maps, all of them focused on teams capturing objectives, but the entire team levels up together. So whichever team brings more people to the objective wins the match. So if this guy's over here jerking off like a fucking dickhead, I just lost the whole match. There's no individualism in this movie. I kept waiting for a scene where the main character does something crazy that leads his team to victory, but it never came. Also, the graphics are far below the industry standard. Even Shark Tale has better graphics than this movie. How come everyone is riding horses? Even the spaceman. Even the guy who was too big for the biggest horse in the world. How come the funnest part of this game is in the tutorial where I kick around Diablo's dead body? How come we've destroyed their entire middle lane, which gives a bunch of XP, and we're up by 30 kills, and their team is a higher level than ours? Oh wait! I think I remember now. It's because this game is a fucking travesty! Riot, go back to making League of Legends. Everybody knows the first video game is Mario Brothers, but did you know that the second Mario Brothers wasn't even actually Mario 2? Yeah, it was actually a Japanese game called Harry Potter and the fucking Wizard. I know, what the hell? The Marios went on to sell 3 the hell Potter and if Mario Brothers wasn't Mario 2, actually a Japanese game called Harry Potter and the fucking Wizard. I know, what the hell? The Marios went on to sell 3.9 billion copies, but Reggie was pissed, so he made Sega Genesis.
The most advanced video game system in the universe. Yes! Mega Drive from Sega.
This era in gaming is referred to by historians as the Golden Age. We saw the release of many classics like Tarzan for PS1. That's it. Then Knack came out.
Here comes the money.
Uh-oh, did someone say Knack? Oh, bam, baby, it's Knack, baby, yeah, you like that Knack, don't you, little bitch? Yeah, you like that shit. Yeah, it's Knack, baby, it's Knack. Sadly, Knack would only go on to sell 3 copies because it was the worst game ever made. The creator of Knack, Blizzard Games, spiraled into insanity. Resentful of the human race, he poured his hatred and his cruelty into a game called Angry Bird. In this game, you played as a soulless serial rapist as he tries to jump over the graphics from Mario. Then, in a guerrilla marketing stunt, PewDiePie made a deal with Dream Boy so he could only make blogs about Crappy Bird. So then all the dick sucker kids went out, started buying Happy Bird. So then the maker of Tracking Bird was a fucking bastard, shut it down so he could make Minecraft. Then Minecraft comes out, PewDiePie goes, "Oh, this game is a nipple, dude." This game is a nipple, dude! I don't like Knack though, cause I'm a little pussy! So all these little fucking retards buy Mineshaft, then Reggie goes, "Now I can make Minecraft too!" Well, hold the phone, fucker! Turns out Microsoft owned Minecraft the whole time, you piece of shit! Go to jail! Go to jail! What will the future of gaming bring? No man truly knows. Except me. As we speak, scientists are making an all-new game called FPS. They say the game is being developed in an underground lab deep within Indochina. Here it is now.
Here comes the money.
Oh, it's just Knack, baby! Knack is back, baby! It's Knack! Yeah, you like that Knack, baby! You like that Knack! Hello, it's a Knack, baby! It's Knack, yes, Knack, baby! Knack is back!
I'm done making Overwatch videos. I'm sorry, because I know you guys also—
Shift. Look left. Fuck. Fire. Is it bad I can't tell the difference between this and every Bastion I play against? Shift. Fire. No, wait, come back. Come back, I need that to live. Play the game, guys. Stop. Turn left. Oh my god. I think I actually fixed it. Shoot. Turn right. Turn right. Turn left. Oh no. Stop shooting. Oh, don't make me watch it again. It's not any better the second time. Turn right. Turn left. Shoot. Turn left. Turn left. Please don't. It took me like 20 minutes to get here. Yeah! Oh no, we don't have any tanks? How are we supposed to look? Now this. This I can get behind. Oh, it's moving. Alright, hey, you kids, make good choices. Have fun out there. I'll be here if you need me. Ult. That works too, I don't care. Forward. Turn right. Turn right. E. Turn right. Turn left. Turn left. Turn left is here. Guy, turn left. Turn left. Nice. Back. Stop. Turn right. Forward. Turn left. Turn left. Oh, I'm a bot now. Actually, maybe a little worse than one. Oh, they're all starting to catch on. Enter. I'm trying to play with voice commands. Close enough. Ah, shit! It isn't working too well. Okay, even closer enough. Oh. Okay, looks like my... Could be.
喂，我小尾埲牆點解變咗一條柱嘅？喂，踏入破。哦。咩啦？我哋個波唔係啊，夠。我英雄到個位。我都俾你聲撞飛咗。開乜嘢啊？終於有幾打
I'm done making Overwatch videos.
What's up, guys? It's about really super interesting because of this video that was scrapped, kind of like a little section of Jarvan's wall almost, just as like a curved section, and you could use it to lock people into getting hit by the rest of the effect. The problem with it is that when you could position it properly, it felt really good to use and was really powerful, but if you were inexperienced with Scion, then it was really difficult to use and ended up feeling totally the opposite and was incredibly unsatisfying to play with. It had a really high skill cap to use it properly, and Riot wanted to make sure that Scion felt really accessible to most players, because at the time, before his rework, he was already a fairly simplistic champion, so the idea was scrapped. One thing Riot did learn from the development of it though was that Scion really wanted some way to keep an enemy close by when he bashes them, and this is actually what led to Scion getting a slow on his E ability. Depending on how long the terrain remained on the ground, this could have led to some really cool playmaking potential, like perhaps stopping an enemy being able to get near your teammates by using it like an based ability. Cool stuff. The next one is more like a but it has... This actually used to be... It's Diana's ultimate. This actually used to be a E to and then still pull people in like her E does now. This worked on the VF projection ultimate ability, the area for a ton of true damage, the area for a full moon once it was channeled fully. When the channel was finished, Diana would shatter the area for a ton of, and this ended up being one of the most powerful ultimate abilities in the entire game when it was tested, and it was so difficult to counter that Riot honestly didn't even try to balance it. They just reworked it completely and attached fall mockups, and you can see this version of the list ability to be almost like a submachine gun, where he worked on an ammo system and could hold down his Q to spam out shots in a rapid-fire motion. The idea was that the more bullets you shot, the more erratic and random the firing arc and patterns became. So you could either use it in short, accurate bursts, or just save up a ton of ammo, get into close range, and just unleash hell on someone. The bullets were about the same size as maybe an Ezreal Q, and it would also root you while you casted the ability, so it was kind of like a channel, I guess you could say. It's definitely a pretty interesting ability, but would probably be too hard to balance and end up being only used for one of the respective playstyles most of the time. We don't know if this ability actually was for Jace or not, and if it was, we don't know what the rest of his rework. If you ever see this in the on or out and ready, one of the abilities they try abilities with are your Q, W, and E, just the same, in addition to her primary one, so she would go around controlling 2 balls during the duration of the ultimate. Ride Zephyrus stated that this ability made her way too complicated, especially when you think about how complicated Orianna kind of is already. So the ability ended up being scrapped in weird ways her abilities interact, and having a second ball honestly my head around this about it. And controlling other abilities, Shadow Count, the effect definitely see how much of a headache it would have been. So it's probably a good thing that Orianna received her Shockwave instead, and honestly, her Shockwave is a damn sweet ultimate. Shockwave's been a huge part of competitive League of Legends, especially for years, so it does seem like Riot made the right decision with this one. Next is a scrapped ability that was actually the core design for a cancelled champion that we talked about in a previous video, the Shapeshifter. It's kind of like Empath's signature skill in New Earth. I did talk about the Shapeshifter, but I wanted to bring it up again actually because of what the ability shapeshift your health bar. The rest of your abilities, and skills took a certain was actually some awesome teleporting across 2v2, and this game might like this which offers to see Riot future and could bring a lot of potential news. And been able to next one we're taking a look at beginning of, so it's not really that important, but they did change a couple of his abilities like his passive and some minor tweaks here and there, and at the time his ultimate was going to be made into an area of effect cleanse ability, but it was actually scrapped as Riot decided it would fit better on a different champion. It was actually considered for use during the Soraka rework as well too, or one of the Soraka reworks I guess you could say, but they wanted to keep her a huge part of her as well. Glad that Alistair damage reduction, and it definitely character then just made to initiate and survive with his ult, and combos a Mumu ult in the form of effect good spot for. Next up we have an ability that comes from Riot J-Way, who gives us the original concept for Nami's E, and it might have been the most broken spell shield. It worked pretty much the same as Sivir, like Morgana's Black Shield already is. I mean, it's an insanely powerful ability because stopping crowd control effects can single-handedly decide whether a teammate can escape or gets. It doesn't necessarily Nami's shot ability like Yorick, and we actually talked a lot about him and his future rework in a couple of past abilities, but one ability that I actually didn't mention previously was a version of his old scrapped ultimate. Riot Zelnath stated that Yorick once had an ultimate for the design of his rework where he would summon a line of creeping hands out of the ground, rooting everyone in his path. This is pretty much basically just Zyra's E, especially in her Haunted skin, but considering it was an ultimate instead of a basic ability, we can imagine it was almost like her E on
in a target, because you use the W, they're charmed walking towards you, you start off with the Q, you just get that extra damage going, you start doing that bonus damage which you want to do ASAP while they're walking towards you essentially, and then as you're on about the second or third part of a hate spike, they'll most likely be out of charm, they'll start walking away, and you follow up with. But then again, you can't really follow up with E because you have to follow up from her passive with like being invisible to actually jump to the target. Interesting. Anyway, Widowmaker. Evelynn unleashes her demonic energy, becoming untargetable and decimating enemies in front of her. She then warps back. This ability deals the bonus damage to low HP. Hell, okay, so it's an execute. It's a execute. It's very cool. Check it out. Come on. Hey. But are you forced to go back? That's my question. Do you have to go back? It looks like you do. And you choose where to go back. Hey, hit by one soldier. You can see it's at 75%. It doesn't matter what's. Oh, I can kill her. Check it out. Oh god, that garbage Q range. But you know what? The soldier's auto attack range, it was still enough. That's all that matters. Whew. Got the red buff though. That's pretty spicy. Now the new Cinch skin is so good. I love it. Okay, I'm gonna go over here. We're gonna take this little plant over. I saw my ultimate because I didn't use it against her. Wait, where's your support? Oh, hi. I don't know about the exhaust there, friend. I mean, it's not gonna do a whole lot to you. It really isn't. Okay, let's go ahead and push this out. Man, I wish I worked on enemies. But now, like, the idea is where you can just throw down 2 soldiers and then.
Hey guys, so people don't truly master the has champions kind of like playing an AD carry top lane, and we all know how well our top lane Vayne or Lucian does in our solo queue. You are like, if you thought Jace was a basic champion, then go watch a Khan montage. Guy is a top laner for Longzhu Gaming in Korea. Legit, he is a beast. Jace has 6 abilities to work with, is to properly to use 6 abilities, and then at the time you've got a ranged champion, somebody at the ways to use his kit. Like, if we forget about the damage for a second, like not trying to kill somebody, your boxes and your clones are so hard to master. Maybe he doesn't need to actually master them to be good, but proper box placement can make a massive difference. Like, I'm pretty sure Pink Ward with his Trinity of box death top lane is proof of that. Mechanically, you've got to dodge a lot of stuff with your ultimate. You have to dive in at the right time. It's not that hard to get him to a good spot where you can win, I guess, but there's so many little things that you would need to actually say you mastered him. Now, Cassiopeia is one of the few here, partly because she's just very hard to master mechanically, let alone anything else with her kit. You have to spam your E over and over, you have to move your champion, you have to hit your Q skill shot, all while trying not to die, but outputting an insane amount of DPS. In my opinion, you cannot really sure damage learning how to stat space as well. Placement is like a mini game within League that your game you're trying to play anyway. Constantly placing them properly with the right angle, the right drop location, dancing around them, that is not easy at all. There is like an extra element of planning or like guesswork, I guess, as well, how the fight is going to go. You have to set up the fight for yourself. You have to imagine how it's going to play out, and then you actually have to have the mechanics to execute. Mostly it comes down to experience, I think, but using everything properly, not button mashing, I think you can. There's a huge difference between a new and a good Nidalee player, but there is also a massive difference between a good one and a really good one. First off, her whole damage is based on her Q hitting really well mostly, and hitting that reliably through minions especially is really tough to play with, like right timing. Put her in the top difficult to do it. So after that, to game knowledge to actually know when and where to get that barrel chain off. Much you can play 1,000 games of him and you're insane, but I don't think but proper shadow placement, the proper combo, that is really hard. When we're talking about triple shadows and triple Q, like getting into that territory, making sure they hit their targets first for max damage, that is so much to think about and execute. It's pretty insane, like how much effort you have to put in to kill somebody, but like you can kill people that most people can't when you get that good. Assassins are high skill cap anyway, but Zed especially. His kit is so complicated at a really high level that you'll never really have the mechanics and knowledge to play everything perfectly. Lee Sin is a lot like Thresh or Katarina, actually, where it's not massively difficult to do this stuff on Lee Sin, but in a full-on game, it's much harder. So any moron can kick flash nowadays, honestly. You can practice it in the practice mode, but like, can you kick flash after flying in with your Q, ward jumping first, and then doing it on a moving target at max range? I don't think you probably can, and even when you try and kill somebody, knowing whether it's better to ward hop in first, like to kick and then execute with your Q or not, this is partly why a good Lee Sin is so fun to watch. They do stuff where you're like, what on earth just happened? Like, I wouldn't have even thought to do that in the first place. The point is, like, mechanics can be really hard in actual games for Lee Sin, but knowing which of those mechanics you have to pull off in what situation is what really makes him take it to another level of difficulty. So Vayne is the first AD on here, and AD carries really aren't always that hard to master because they are auto attack based, so the good old like right click for late game damage. It's kind of the same with Vayne, but there is a whole new level to her in my opinion, one of the few where you don't always want to sit at the back of a fight. Assassin Vayne is a bit of a meme, right? But sometimes bypassing the front line with your stealth is actually the best play, partly because of your burst damage. Using your stealth is something that most people just don't master after like thousands of games. It's really hard to picture the game as the enemy team sees it. If you think about it, most times you duck into your stealth and then you instantly auto attack afterwards. You kind of use it to reset or just to like slightly adjust your positioning. You actually have a lot more time than you think. You have time to move and position differently, but you kind of forget that they can't see you or panic. There is a lot more to Vayne than just right clicking. Like learning matchups properly even can take a seriously long time, and team fighting even longer. So the final group, before we get into it, as with all of these kind of videos, I want you to get close. play. You probably have the potential to have one of the highest DPS outputs in the game, but the reality is nobody can combo and animation cancel smoothly enough to even get close. You're all about using your skills in the correct order, using your passive auto attacks in between, using your dash reset to continuously pump out damage. It takes an insane amount of mechanical skill to animation cancel properly all the time, to attack move, but also a lot of knowledge to know which order to use things in and keep this rotation smooth. So watch them while like we've ever already seen keep this rotation smooth. So Azir is a weird, difficult challenge like we've ever already seen before. It's quite difficult to use that kit correctly anyway, like attack with your soldiers, watch them while watching yourself, like deciding where to send them. That's the other part though, the planning or imagining how a fight goes. You need to move them. If you don't, that is just a shuffle or to ask themselves, being relatively easy, and at a basic level he is actually. Getting someone else to knock them up for you or split together. Yes, in the game is Riven because of her animation cancelling. I cannot think of another champion where it's almost mandatory to be able to animation cancel, or you cannot play them honestly. That right there makes it almost impossible to master Riven because of how difficult it is, but it's still about the right way to use her abilities as well. Boxbox, for example, found that thing where you can turn around with a ward like mid Q. I don't know if that still works, but even just cancelling dashes with your Q. You have so much mobility, but that's also your damage at the same time, if that makes sense. You've got to strike like that perfect balance between getting into a fight but still having enough damage left to kill stuff when you do. Now LeBlanc is another Rise. She is getting another mini rework, by the way, if you didn't know, so that makes it pretty hard to master anyway. Now apart from that, her constantly changing kit, she is one of the hardest champions to be really good at in my opinion. There is a massive difference between a new one and a good one. Even good ones will not know everything though. This is the massive difference. They will know a few good combos, they will know what works, and they'll use those to win games. We're talking about truly mastering and understanding the champion. She has so many different ways to use her abilities, ways to like kill, to kite, to crowd control. Knowing which order would be perfect for the current situation is almost impossible. Every fight you play is going to be different. You'll use those chains to peel sometimes just to proc your passive. There are so many scenarios, that is why you'll never master her. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for checking it out. If you're still here watching, make sure you hit that like button for me, but for now I'll leave you with the robots.
Hey guys, what is about something that topic the I'm going to be talking with you guys about is going to be Nocturne. Now this guy, it is very easy to assassin then. Well, according to Riot, these are all of the champions that they consider to be as a plus another apparent definition of what an assassin champion is. Assassins specialize in infiltrating enemy lines with their due to their mostly themselves often have defensive tricks up there. Now that last part is things, but in my opinion what that should mean is the fact that they have way to reduce it from or not a skill. So back on the topic of listed as one. Is it? Well, what does he do? He pops his ultimate, he dives straight headfirst at a target somewhere in the backline, and he auto attacks them to death. That's pretty much what he does. He doesn't have any other form of escape. Sure. An assassin is someone like maybe Zed or Kassadin, Rengar, Talon, champions that have some form of stealth, mobility, ways to assassinate their target, especially single target damage, but also have ways to instantly.
What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. 10 video on this most powerful and work out what the maximum for an idea, and if you enjoy the Pulverize. Pulverize is an area of effect knock-up ability caused by Alistar smashing has always been the head of that power. Being able to knock up multiple enemies at an almost instant speed is incredibly easy to Alistar to isn't also be used as W, below decided to use Darius's Apprehend for a couple of reasons. For starters, it's the only area of effect hook in the game, able to grab a group of enemies and drag them all into Darius, and it also has a soft crowd control effect, giving all units hooked harder for them as Darius's % of an LU for just place on the top. Compared to other hooks though, so don't under. Gale is an interesting ability. It doesn't fire immediately upon hitting the actual ability key. Rather, it starts to charge up, the ability next to Janna gaining in power for 3 seconds, or until she presses the button again. And when this happens, the tornadoes launch, knocking up and damage dealt are charged up. Knockups are awesome abilities in their own right, but the really deadly thing about Howling Gale is that Janna doesn't actually need to fire the ability to discourage the enemy team from attacking her. It has so much zone control due to the charge effect. Setting up the Whirlwind, especially in a choke point, completely stops the enemy team from being able to move forward, making it one to use and produce, because you can set it up and then fire it when you need it, or it's a lot easier to just double tap it, as opposed to something like Thresh's Flame consistently and other champions, or Gragas's E, Body Slam. This ability is honestly kind of insane. It causes Gragas to surge forward, knocking back and stunning all units he collides with. You manage to max Body Slam with Flash balance Gragas, saying that his Body Slam means that Gragas will pretty much always have the ability to reliably knock someone into your team every 5 minutes when Flash is available, and that combo ability that interacts with Flash even better than Gragas, and that's going to be to number 6, which is Shen's E, Shadow Dash. It's slightly better rated on our list for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's got a longer range, meaning that in a perfect situation, crowd control is the most impressive, and honestly is just so insane and is a big part of why he's been a competitive pick for so long. And it's such a powerful and awesome playmaking tool that it remained complete with enemies that it Flash in pretty much in that. These Flash interactions are incredibly powerful, but dependence on Flash to reach their full potential means that these two abilities didn't quite make it into our top 5. And kicking off the top 5 of the list is going to be Cho'Gath's Q, Rupture. The best way to describe this ability is to look at Alistar's Pulverize. They're pretty similar, they're both area of effect knockups, but with some key differences that Rupture, Cho'Gath can knock up targets that Alistar to injury for ultimate because of Malphite. Number 4 is Zack's E, Elastic Slingshot. We're getting into some really interesting territory here, and the thing that really sets Elastic Slingshot apart is just its unbelievable range. Aside from global, Elastic knocking up anyone that he lands on. The most powerful part about having a long-ranged dash like Elastic Slingshot is that you can use it to get huge damage. Slingshot is insanely hard to react to in time since the actual travel speed of the dash is very quick. The cooldown isn't particularly long either, meaning that even if you manage to consider it when I had initially made the list, it boils down to the power in his Elastic Slingshot. Number 3 is kind of an interesting one because I didn't exactly consider burrow and unburrow. This is a really interesting one, some kind of crowd sense effect behind a wall or the tremor sense gives you, and the information that it also gives you to know where enemies are hiding. League is a game of information, and that hit to your sight range is well worth the trade-off. The power of this ability doesn't end there though. When burrowed, Rek'Sai moves faster as well, gains bonus movement speed, and moves through units, as well as giving her a knock-up if she unburrows while beneath an enemy unit, dealing a reasonable amount of damage. The cooldown is very short, so she can usually burrow and unburrow mid-fight for AR. Siphoning Strike and back in powerful. Siphoning Strike is an Siphoning Strike itself, whereas stacking its power strike alone, that the two games actually described this to be the most powerful basic ability in the entire game, and we definitely have to agree with them. I don't think there will ever be a more like a Blitzcrank hook can. One prime hook on a target in the late game can just close out a game, secure a comeback, or win an entire team fight. Blitzcrank's entire kit revolves around this ability by itself, and the rest of abilities, including his ultimate, are a lot weaker as a trade-off since his hook is just so damn insane. It's a lot different to other hook abilities since the pull distance itself is so large, and it actually pulls the target the entire distance, rather than part way such as with Thresh or Nautilus. Hooking a target will instantly bring them to your team and is going to secure the kill pretty much every single time, meaning that a good Blitzcrank player is going to dominate the game and carry harder than almost any other support champion in League of Legends. And there you have it, our top 10 most powerful basic abilities in League of Legends. We'd love to hear what you guys think about these abilities or what you might change in our list, so make sure to leave a comment below and let us know. And that's going to be it for me. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Close to it in the game, enabling him to lock down a lane single-handedly, and the closest comparison we can think of on his ball rather than casting it, making a hybrid between sustained and burst damage. He can also remain mobile with his dash, enabling him to sweep behind the enemy team at high speeds in spectacular fashion. He can wave clear, dual poke, or combo whatever his team needs, and with his